Hello, this is Dane Parcel, and this is my submission for EDL 850 on Module 14, a case study titled Internet Use Violations. So, to give you a brief summary of the case study, it does involve the principal, Dr. Harvey Smith of Slattery Steno High School. He is involved in a internet use concern issue dealing with one of his teachers named Miss Tate. Miss Tate has recently received a URL to a website, actually a Facebook page, that contained offensive language and threats towards her life. Miss Tate has then taken this information on to Dr. Smith. So category 1, as I look at beginning to identify the problem and analyzing the situation, some of the known facts that I have from the case study include information about Slattery Steno High School, as well as Dr. Smith and Miss Tate. So in regards to Slattery Steno High School, it is located in an affluent area. The families are financially stable, as many of the parents are doctors or lawyers or jobs that do receive much more pay than middle-class individuals. The students that there at the school do have the latest fashion and technology. Then you have the principal, Dr. Harvey Smith of Slattery Steno. He does have 9 years experience as an administrator. He was the previous principal of the year a couple years ago, and the information presented does show that he is respected by the parents. Then the teacher in this case study is Miss Tate. She is a second year science teacher. She does have an extensive educational background, as she did do her education and even went forth and got her master's degree before she started teaching. And she does have high expectations and levels of rigor in her class. Some additional known facts that come across with this case study: Dr. Smith has shared concerns from parents to Miss Tate that her expectations and her pedagogy are very, very high, causing a lot of stress for the students. Dr. Smith has also provided Miss Tate with some professional development opportunities. However, they have not been very successful at this time. Miss Tate did receive an email sending her to a Facebook page that contained offensive language. And then she went ahead and shared that with Dr. Smith, as I mentioned earlier. So once she did that, Dr. Smith made copies of the information. He questioned Miss Tate about the events, which led to a student being identified as a possible creator of the page named William Hall. Dr. Smith also told Miss Tate that he would make plans to interview William and his friends, and he would look at contacting the district technologist to see if they could identify who did it. So as I continue, these are some things that I would like to know as I do some investigating. So what are Miss Tate's expectations in her classroom? During the observations that Dr. Smith has done, has he ever noticed any tension between the students and Miss Tate? What is being done about her lack of improvement in regards to the efforts Dr. Smith has done with his coaching? Are the concerns about other teachers on the Facebook page? What students have commented? And could those students be questioned? When was the Facebook page made, and was it made recently or was it made last year? And can Facebook provide any supporting evidence to help us with this or help in deleting the page? Another question I have is, does the technology department have the capabilities of researching such a thing? If this was done at school or with a school computer, I would assume they would have some good ideas. And so I would like to also know what the school internet use policies are. What exactly are Dr. Smith's plans to interview William? I don't necessarily want to go directly to William and interview him without giving him his due process rights. So I want to make sure that I know what his plans are. Is there more than one person involved? Could there be a creator of the email and a creator of the Facebook page? So do we need to consider two threats or two potential suspects? What are the school policies to handle this situation? Should the police officers be involved, resource officers? What are additional reasons behind William Hall being suspected? Have there been any other concerns with this? And of course, it comes down to who wrote the email. So as I identify the problem, there are several different layers. The first one is I feel like we need to investigate the email and the Facebook page and who created it. The second layer we need to identify as the problem is that the student stress level sounds like it's pretty crazy to have to result to a threat. And then the third layer is the safety of the staff and the students as a result of this Facebook page. So category 2, my plan of action and my implementation strategies. My first plan of action is to go immediately and figure out some immediate things to do, and that is notify the district level personnel and resource officer. I would also like to discuss this issue with the technology department, but I'd also like to monitor the website and then also consider getting Facebook to delete the site. I want to talk more with Ms. Tate about the situation and to talk to her about other students that potentially could be suspects. I don't necessarily like the idea of going directly towards William, but I want to make sure that I'm considering the purpose of interviewing him. And then if I do find out the results, whether William is interviewed and confesses, I need to be able to provide my consequences as based on school and district policy. And of course, we need to make sure we're also keeping the parents informed of those steps as well. Then my future steps is to help Miss Tate. She obviously has some issues with her classroom and the stress level, so I need to provide her some additional professional development opportunities. I need to conduct more walkthroughs, evaluating our mentor program. Ms. Tate is only a second-year teacher, and although she has a great extensive educational background, sometimes being in the classroom is totally different than being in the classroom to learn. So we need to evaluate our mentor program and decide, do we have the right capacity to help support Ms. Tate? Then we also need to evaluate the internet use policies and the digital citizenship lessons so that we can provide the staff to the staff training, but also provide then instruction to the students once the staff is comfortable with that. What is best for students? As I resolve the issues and I promote success for students, I believe by resolving the immediate email and Facebook page, I am helping support students and their safety, as well as the staff safety. I'm also hoping to resolve this Facebook and email page by doing that will help the potential from it happening again. Secondly, I'd like to support Miss Tate, and I believe by doing this, it will help build relationships with her and the students in her classroom, but it'll also build her instructional capacity and be able to manage her rigor and her expectations so that students aren't so stressful. And then by looking at evaluating the policies, I believe that's best for students because it helps ensure digital citizenship with them. Man, that is a tough word for me today. And proper internet use. I also believe that teacher involvement should be done in this case, maybe getting a group of teachers together to look at the policies and adjust them as necessary. I think it's important that students and teachers are communicating, and open communication will help eliminate the potential from this happening again, hopefully. So category 4, in terms of my reflection, some of the things I was thinking is, why did Ms. Tate not adjust her classroom methods when she was received support from Dr. Smith? Did Dr. Smith notice any of the tension between Ms. Tate and her students? And what is the classroom really like to resort in such a threatening email or in Facebook page? As I was reading this, I was feeling an overall concern for Ms. Tate and the other teachers and students. I was feeling, why do we jump to suspecting William right away? And we need to think about his due process rights and his student rights from that matter. And I was just frustrated that the situation had occurred just overall. It's not something that anybody wants to handle, but unfortunately it did occur. I did value in my reflection Miss Tate's attempts to instruct her and students, Dr. Smith's efforts to hire Miss Tate as being a highly qualified teacher, and then Dr. Smith's interest to help Miss Tate in this issue and concern for her. So some unresolved issues though for me is I still wonder, will policies and procedures be changed to handle the internet use and digital citizenship for this school? Will Dr. Smith support Miss Tate in extensive efforts to improve her relationship building? Will Miss Tate change her instruction so that the stress on the students is not so great, but also allow her to keep her rigor and high expectations and build relationships, more importantly, with those students? And will the creator of the email and Facebook page ever be found? Standard 5 reflection. How does the school leader promote the success of every student by acting with integrity? Well, I believe Dr. Smith acted with integrity by handling the issue with Miss Tate's best interest at heart. I believe he supported the teachers in the classroom, especially because he did provide some strategies for Miss Tate to improve the stress level. And I believe that his decisions to investigate fully and involve the stakeholders also provided him with the opportunity to act with integrity. How do I, as the school leader, or Dr. Smith in this case, apply knowledge that promoted the success of every student by acting with fairness? Number one, Dr. Smith did not jump to conclusions about William. He wanted to gather the evidence and make the appropriate decisions before he approached and interviewed him. He wanted to provide training and support for teachers on their instruction. Being able to support them in the classroom is a duty as a building leader, and Dr. Smith was wanting to do that for Miss Tate. And he also worked to better internet use policy and digital citizenship for the teachers. And then component 3 of my standard 5 reflection, how do you as the school leader apply knowledge that promoted the success of every student by acting in an ethical manner? So Dr. Smith did hire highly qualified teachers such as Miss Tate to benefit the students. Dr. Smith did not violate student rights, but he did investigate the situation as best as he could. And then he met with Miss Tate to ensure that he was looking into the email, he was looking at the Facebook page, and that the situation would be handled with the utmost respect and dignity as well as efficiency. So that kind of concludes my case study analysis, and I look forward to seeing what everybody else provides. Thank you.